John Carpenter's Halloween is, in my opinion, the best horror film ever. It has such a great blend of scares, suspense, character development, and atmosphere and setting that it's become one of the all-time classics, along with Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, obviously, with any decent property, we had sequels. And most of them are jack shit. The only decent one I can probably consider out of all of them is Halloween 2. And even that's still a cut below the rest of them. And then there's also the one that we don't talk about because it emotionally scarred me as a child, and I don't want to live through that again, ever.
It's 4 days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. It's 4 days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Now, today we're going to be talking about the one, the only, the 1978 original, John Carpenter's Halloween. Now, the film opens up in 1963 on Halloween, and this film is set in the town of Haddonfield, Illinois, where Michael Myers, as a young little 6-year-old boy, dressed in a clown costume, goes up and kills his sister. Yeah, the kid just literally goes up and kills his sister. No reason at all, just goes and does it. Just goes and does it. And I found that really, really cool. And I didn't find it cool. I mean, it's pretty fucked up that he killed his sister. And then, but yeah, it's a perfect setup to the movie. There's this kid. Nobody knows if he actually killed his sister or not. And that's just how it begins. What a great way to start a movie. Then cut to 15 years later. Michael is now about 21 years old, and he still is under the care of his psychiatrist, Dr. Samuel Loomis, played perfectly by Donald Pleasance. And Michael is now old enough to stand trial for his crimes that he committed, and he's going to be sent back to Haddonfield to be tried for his crimes. However, there's a prison break at the Smiths Grove Sanatorium where Michael is kept, and he escapes, steals Loomis's car, and drives off into the night to Haddonfield, beginning a great car chase where Michael kills a mechanic, and he steals his uniform and steals the iconic masks, and Halloween begins from there on out. And the real action starts on Halloween Day, where we're introduced to Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, in her star role. And boy, does she knock it out of the park. She portrays the typical smart, innocent girl that normally doesn't get killed in these type of horror movies, while her friends are the pot-smoking, having sex kids that you'd expect from these kind of movies. And throughout the day, Michael is seen creepily stalking them, suspensefully and well-placed, as in some shots you can barely even notice the guy. And not only that, but he's just fucking creepy. Michael Myers is a creepy concept because this sort of thing could happen in real life. Compared to the later movies where he becomes a fucking cult power, he's cursed, yeah. I wouldn't mind reviewing Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers. So if you want me to review that before the new one, leave a like, leave a comment, and you just let me know. And, well, yeah, throughout the day, Laurie's doing her thing at school. She keeps seeing Michael, and it's really creepy. And she's going to babysit Tommy Doyle later that night. And while that's happening, Loomis arrives in Haddonfield and begins his search for Michael, along with Laurie's friends Annie's dad, Sheriff Brackett. And they go on a long quest to try and catch Michael. Basically, Halloween rolls around, trick-or-treat, parties, all that cool stuff. Laurie is babysitting Tommy, and then Annie calls Laurie, "Hey, Laurie, do you mind watching Lindsay for me, Lindsay Wallace? I want to go have sex with my boyfriend." "Oh, sure, cool. I'll watch her for you." And Annie drops Laurie off. Annie drops Lindsay off with Laurie, and then Annie goes and has sex with her boyfriend. Well, whoa! and he dies. And he gets stabbed by Michael. And not only that, but Laurie's other friends, Linda and Bob, also get killed by Michael when they're having sex, and leading to this funny image of Michael wearing the ghost costume, pretending to be Linda's boyfriend. It's a pretty scary image, but also low-key, Michael probably wanted to get it on with Linda. I'm not lying, it probably is true. Loomis also goes to the graveyard and he discovers Michael took his sister's tombstone and took it to his old house. After Michael kills Linda, he calls, Laurie calls, and Michael answers, and Michael's like, new blood, and he goes over to Laurie's house, to Tommy's house, to try and kill Laurie. Laurie goes over to the other house, and well, actually no, Michael stays in the house, and Laurie comes over there to check, and she finds Annie dead on the bed with Judith Meyer's tombstone in the background, and that's all like, whoa, and Laurie sees Michael, and she's like, oh shit, and she runs away, creating one of the most iconic chase scenes in a horror movie. Not only that, but the fact that this is different than most movies, and there's not much blood and there's not much gore. You can portray horror without portraying blood and gore that much, when just showing true suspense and, I guess, jump scares, but all that. This is possibly the best scene in the movie, and it leads to some great classic scenes like Laurie limping, Laurie running across the street with the kids, and the closet scene, which is also pretty freaking amazing. Then Laurie, once Michael becomes unconscious by Laurie poking him in the eye with a clothes hanger, she tells the kids to get the fuck out of here. You need to get out like right now before it gets real bad. And they do, and Loomis is luckily walking the streets, and he sees the kids running, and he's like, oh crap, I need to go help. Michael reanimates, chokes Laurie to death, starts choking Laurie to death. Laurie rips his mask off. The one time you can see Michael Myers' face in the original timeline, like actually played by Tony Moran, where in the rest of the film he's played by Nick Castle. And other than that, Loomis shoots Michael 6 times. Michael falls over the balcony. Laurie asks, was that the boogeyman? Loomis is like, yeah, I think it was. And then the film ends with Loomis looking out into the night. Michael was supposed to be at the bottom. Michael was at the bottom of the balcony, but he's gone, and he moved away. And the rest of the film is with Loomis. Is Loomis looking at all the places that Michael had been at the night, while you can hear Michael breathing in the background. And that was John Carpenter's Halloween. It is, in my opinion, a perfect masterpiece of a film. It has perfect amounts of horror, suspense, violence, and all that. And it's still great to this day, 40 years later. And with the new one coming out, and people claiming for it to be just as good as the original, I have my hopes up that we might finally be getting another good Halloween movie in the Halloween franchise. Although only time will tell, and we will see in the meantime. I would have to rate this movie 4.5 stars out of 5. And if you want me to review Halloween 6, leave a like and leave a comment, and I will get to that. Other than that, I'm TheWhiplashFX, and I will see you guys next time.